In this video, we're going to answer the question, can the devil heal? The quick answer is no. The quick answer is no. He cannot create, he cannot heal. The elaborated answer is he doesn't have the motivation to heal you. We're told in the word that his motivation is to kill, steal, and destroy you. So if he has established a field in which that fundamentally denies the creator, that should tell you the spirit that is starting out this field, evolutionary biology. There's no creator, denies Christ. Christ is the creator. He is the antichrist, anti-creator. Do you understand the foundation of science as it is practiced today? The history of the field was witchcraft, divinations, philosophers, wise in their own eyes, and then it culminated to a point in which the spirit of the field was revealed when it fundamentally outright denied that there is a creator. When you hear it like that, does it help you to understand the times we're living in, that everyone widely accepts this field that denies Christ, that is predicated on the Antichrist, that we bring our bodies and our children to go and receive from a field that is the spirit of the Antichrist? Does it now confuse you as to why we were being required to do something, to do certain things? Why over time we've been required to take vaccinations in order to have a job, in order to go to school? And now it's culminated to the point where you must take this vaccination or you will not be able to go to the store. You will not be able to do these different things. Now, understand, because I know that some people have ingested a false doctrine that the mark of the beast is a vaccination. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's much deeper, it's much bigger, that what you accept into your heart is either going to mark you as being of the devil or seal you as being of God. It's going to be the foundation, the basis by which your deeds will come through your hand, your thoughts will come through your forehead, and you will declare and profess with your mouth. It doesn't mean that you're going to be called before the Sanhedrin or the government or whoever. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stand before them and you're going to say, I believe that Christ died and rose 3 days later, like people are doing so wickedly and thinking that they declare that and now they're saved. No, you're going to have to live into this. You're going to have to prove that this is what's in your heart. The word tells us that deception, you're handed over to deception and delusion when you do not love truth. If you have not accepted truth into your heart, and that is not the basis on which your deeds are coming, your thoughts are coming, what occupies your heart occupies your mind. It's also going to come through your right hand in your deeds, in your mind, in your forehead, out of your mouth, in the way that you speak, in everything you do, how you speak with your employer, how you speak with your children, how you speak with anyone that you come in contact with. That is going to come from your heart. If you've been handed over to delusion, you're going to speak as the world speaks. You're going to profess the things that the world professes, that science is real, love is love, kindness is everything, women's rights are human rights. You're going to speak those things. You're going to act out those things. You're going to think those things. You're going to hand over your body and your children to be sacrificed to the Antichrist spirit who has established false healers, false gospel, and no Messiah, no Christ, no creator. You're going to hand over your children to be chemically castrated, which is the fruit of this field. That's what they do. They kill babies. They chemically castrate children. They break down the creation because they hate the creator. Even though they don't acknowledge the creator, the spirit of the Antichrist, that's his goal, to kill, steal, and destroy. If you've been handed over to delusion, you've been handed over to that spirit of delusion, he's going to do what he's going to do. And here's the thing. I've told you many times in these videos that what the world calls narcissism is the character of the enemy. If you think about a narcissist, what the world calls a narcissist, that narcissist is not just being an obnoxious, evil maniac at all hours of the day. That narcissist is doing certain things to manipulate you and to gain control over you. And so sometimes he's going to let up. Don't get tripped up on gender. We're talking about the enemy who is a he. The enemy, who is a he, is going to do these things, okay? So no one needs to comment, there's female narcissists too. I don't acknowledge narcissist. I acknowledge the phenomenon and the symptoms of having the spirit of the enemy inside of you. And so what that enemy does, and what you see in what is called narcissism, is that they will do certain things. They'll schmooze you. They'll flatter you. They'll be charismatic. They'll be super sweet. They'll give you all of the things. They've studied you, and they'll give you those things that they have studied and know that you want. That many times you just kind of give it up to them and tell them, this is what I want. This is what I want in a partner. This is what and you tell them everything, and then they study you and they give you all those things within 2 weeks. And then you naively think, oh my goodness, I've just found like the love of my life. I've just found my partner, my soulmate. And all they're doing is manipulating you, okay? If that's the pattern of the devil, then is he not going to do that same thing in other things in order to keep you in bondage? Is he not going to exercise that same scheme, those same tactics of giving you a little bit of a bone to keep you in bondage, to keep you in that cage? They'll give you that little bit of a bone just to keep you alive. Your skin and bones, just surviving in that cage because it keeps throwing you a little bone. So yeah, you're going to experience certain things. You might even think that you've healed from one thing only to have something else pop up, and then something else pops up. So it becomes relentless because you haven't dealt with the etiology. You haven't dealt with the core issue of why that thing is in your life to begin with. Why that illness, why that bondage is in your life to begin with. Do you think that God, having created you, having created everything, all of the miracle that is happening in your body right now, just to breathe, just to speak, just to listen, in one system of your body, right? Your auditory system, like what's happening in your brain and your ear, in order for you to receive that sensory information, interpret it, it's got to go through quite a bit in order for it to reach you in the way that it's reaching you. You think that entire miracle right there, that just because science observes what's going on, that they created it? No, you have a creator. You have a creator who was capable of designing in his wisdom even that one system that is so miraculous and so incredible. He's the one who's keeping it going. And when he removes that breath from you that science can't give you, then it stops everything from going in the way that it's happening. I remember being in college and asking someone, I haven't seen you around in this group that I was in college, right? It was, based on spirituality or whatever. And I remember him saying, well, it's a little bit difficult when you don't believe that there's a God and you just believe that you're just, I can't remember what he said, but it was so grim. His response was so grim. You just believe that you're a bag of bones and you're going to go to the earth and the worms are going to eat you or whatever. It was really, really grim. And I remember thinking, what? You don't believe in God? What's wrong with you? How can you not believe in God? It was, and I don't mean that I thought he was an idiot or something like that, but I thought, I just inside of me was how are you so arrogant that you think that you're just making this run? You're making this whole machine just operate on its own? Where do you even think that comes from? Life is given to you by the breath of God. He breathed into your nostrils and he gave you life. He breathed his spirit into you. A spirit that medicine can't see or touch. They can't give it to you. They can't take it away. That's what your creator did. You were just a bag of bones before that. You look at Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones and you see that Ezekiel, prophesies to the bones, and the bones come together, and the tendons and the sinews and the flesh. But there's no life. Who gives you life if there's no God? Because medicine can't do it. But the spirit behind medicine is constantly trying to covet what God has done, what he has established, what he has made. That spirit cannot create. That spirit cannot heal. That spirit is not motivated to heal you. The only thing that spirit is motivated to do is to steal, kill, and destroy. Even with this delusion that it heals. Even with that delusion, same thing, same strategy in counterfeit Christianity. He cannot give life. He cannot give salvation. He cannot be the Messiah, nor would he want to, nor is he motivated to, because he's evil. He's a murderer and a liar. But he covets it, doesn't he? By presenting false messiahs, false salvations, a false covenant, and that's how he murders. That's how he murders and steals your soul. Same thing in medicine. Trikoshi is a system in which girls in Africa, in West Africa, are offered into slavery, sexual slavery, as wives of the gods. So they're taken to a shrine, into this cult, and where there are human sacrifices, and they are known as the wives of the gods. And the priests of this cult have sex with virgins, virgin children, and many of those children end up bearing the children of the priests. And many families in West Africa believe that when they sacrifice or give a child to the shrine, that they are doing so to atone for the sins of the family. And they actually report that sicknesses and like curses, what they believe are curses, things like that, that those things stop when they give that sacrifice. It breaks my heart. And I think that you can probably very clearly see that that's satanic. You can understand, you can recognize that as being satanic. And yet that's the very thing that we do in medicine. That's the very thing that we keep doing. We keep giving our children, we keep giving ourselves, and he throws us a bone to keep us in bondage, literally giving us enough to keep us, just enough to keep us surviving, breaking down our bodies, cutting open our bodies, we're constantly deferring to these false gods, satanic gods who are nothing. And the very one who is attacking you will let up a bit. That narcissistic, what the world calls narcissism, is going to let up a little bit in order for you to have some relief and think, yeah, okay, it is working. Okay, I'll keep giving. Okay, I'll keep trying. You go to therapy with that maniac and they start acting like they know that they're supposed to act. And you think, okay, I'll keep fighting. I'll keep doing this. All to be beat up even more. I'm using these different examples to help you to understand the tactics and schemes of the enemy. That's what he does. And that's why the word tells us that we're to test the spirit and discern the fruit. The word doesn't tell us test the spirit and then keep giving to that person and maybe they'll change. The word says, dust your feet, rebuke, get out of there, get out of Dodge. You have nothing to do with people who live like that. Nothing to do with people who have that spirit. The one caveat I would say is if you are married to that person, you need to fast and you need to pray and you need to return to God and find out what's going on in you. Because what God has brought together, let no man separate. So you got to receive that from him. But in any other situation, you got to dust your feet. You are not supposed to have anything to do with this spirit. You got a field that's breaking down little children, that is chemically castrating them, going along with this narrative that there is no creator and they decide whether they're a girl or a boy. They operate on the authority of the world. They deny the authority of God. You have to admit that that is what is happening. You have to admit that that's what's happening and that that is the fruit of that field. And if that's the fruit of that field, then you know what the spirit of that field is. And you have to stop looking at the human beings and saying, they seem like a good doctor. They seem like they have a good heart. No, they operate based on the authority of the world. They don't operate based on the authority of God. What is the spirit behind the field? What are they doing? What's their fruit? They will give you enough to cause you to keep sacrificing yourself to them. They will give you enough to cause you to keep sacrificing your children, putting them through the fire. Satan cannot heal. Only God can heal. Human beings cannot heal. Only God can heal. And God is not going to cause you to do these superficial things like take a pill, say a prayer over it, do some memorized ritual. He's not going to have you do that. You are going to know that God healed you because that's what God likes. That's what he established. He wants you to know that he is the Lord your healer. He wants you to know that he does not give his praise or glory to idols. He wants you to know that he created you and that he is the only one who can heal you. And so he's going to cause you to engage in a process, in a ministry with him, receiving his teaching, rending your heart, turning from your wicked ways. You are going to know that he is the one who healed you, but you have to return to him. You can't be friends with the world and friends with him. You have to be single-minded, not double-minded. You cannot be friends with the world that is enmity toward Christ, the enemy of Christ, you do that and you become the enemy. You become his enemy. You become a prostitute. You become an adulterous wife. And he hands you over to the spirit you've chosen for the destruction of the flesh, that you might be brought into the position to truly choose him, the position to truly be saved. I hope this has helped you to understand what's going on in the world right now, how this has evolved. That's the only thing that has evolved. You haven't evolved. Wickedness has evolved. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.